spot for you, Louise, my Australian friend. Good to have you. Hey, Jim. Good to have you, my friend. We're going to get started. Well, I'll tell you what, we're right here at the top of the hour. So let's go on and respect your time. We're going to spend about 40 to 45 minutes sharing, and then we're going to have an optional little session where we'll go in your back office. For those of you who have already gotten your pre-registration portal, make sure you know a little bit about some functionalities about that back there, where to know to find certain things. And then we'll maybe even have a chance to spend a few minutes, maybe 5-10 minutes, on an optional Q&A thereafter. Now I'm going to cue this up, and prayerfully we'll get a good recording of this so that it can be up for others to see a little bit down the road. Okay, give me a moment. Now the first thing I do want to accomplish here is I want to put a poll out. I need everyone to do me a favor, and if everyone would do me a favor, give me a moment, and vote for me. Let's see, do you guys see that yet? Bear with me. There we go. All right. Now, if you have been a part of any company in this industry that has or had a revenue sharing model, if that's you, you're going to put a yes. If you have not been a part of a company with a revenue sharing model, you're going to put a no. I just want to know who our audience is. I don't want to assume that everyone knows what a revenue sharing model is. All right, can I get a little bit more participation? We're getting there. Let's give you about 10 seconds. Let's get everyone voting, please. Everyone on the video side, please vote. Yes, I've been a part of a revenue sharing model. Maybe you're already part of an existing revenue sharing model, and maybe you've never been a part of a revenue sharing model. In 9 and 8, vote please. We're getting there. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Fantastic. Thank you so much. I do appreciate that. And now I believe we can start our recording and get things started. There I think that's it. Okay, fantastic, fantastic. Okay, all right, so let's go to work here, ladies and gentlemen. Again, my name's T. Lamont Silver Sr. Everyone calls me T. Lamont. We've been in the home business space, the work-at-home industry now for 19 years. We struggled, like most people, those first few years out of the gate. Over the last decade, we had some great mentors in our lives, and we were able to start putting some things together. And we've been very fortunate to have just a tremendous following, and we've developed 4 7-figure businesses. But what has really struck me is what's happened over the last couple of years, because we've been able to develop 2 7-figure businesses. But this is what's really got me so excited about JubiRev, JubiMax, is even though we were doing well before the revenue sharing model, I've got to tell you that it's a little empty feeling when you go and you make a large deposit because you make $10,000 for the month, or $15,000 for the month, or $20,000, maybe even more. And you would think that that would make you feel good, but when you know that the majority of your teammates are struggling and barely even making enough to cover their auto ship or their monthly subscription, you almost feel a guilty feeling, like, boy, you're making it, but they're not. A couple of years ago, we tripped over this model, and it completely changed everything, because we started seeing Joe and Susie Average, who always make up the majority of any network. Great people, character, integrity, but just not good at recruiting, just not good at sponsoring. And we saw them starting to generate not just enough revenues to cover their monthly outlay for that particular business model, but then they started, we saw folks starting to make enough to pay a car payment or a house note, and some folks even replacing income, some folks who had never had much success really having a lifestyle change. So we're going to talk about that tonight, and talk about the company that I believe will set the standard for the revenue sharing model. JubiRev, JubiMax. Have you seen the power of the revenue sharing model? Well, you're about to in today's presentation. Now, before I get into the model, I want to explain JubiRev, JubiMax, because I've got to be honest. When I first heard the name, I said, Jubi? Jubi? Jubi. And then the management team said, go and look at what jubilant means, because Jubi is short for jubilant. And I saw, see, JubiRev is our company's promoter portal. This is where we're going to get paid, all right, those of us that are promoting the business. Now, the company will refer to us as promoters versus reps or distributors or affiliates, basically all in the same. They just call us promoters. JubiRev. They said, look at what jubilant means. And one of the synonyms of jubilant was triumphant. And I started thinking about, with this revenue sharing model, how we saw folks like Lynn from Virginia, who had struggled for 8 years in this industry, and finally she hit her stride with a revenue sharing model, even though she only personally referred one person as an affiliate with that company. Yet she was triumphant. She was able to do much better than she had ever done in this industry. And then from a product standpoint, JubiMax, which is our customer portal, I started looking at words of jubilant like thrilling, exuberant, excited, ecstatic. We want our product users, those who are not affiliated with the income opportunity, to be absolutely excited about the products and services. So let's go to work. The revenue sharing model is where average, everyday people, Joe average, Sue average, are earning life-changing incomes in record time. The question is, are you ready? Now, JubiRev, as we've already begun to share, is the marketing arm of JubiMax. Now, typically, I'll say JubiRev and JubiMax in the same sentence. If I say one without the other, I'm still talking about the same family. Now, JubiRev, we're going to lead and become the standard in the revenue sharing revolution. By the way, JubiRev, that could stand for revolution or revenue share. We'll have as our tagline, hey, we're not just a company. No, we're not. No, it's a movement. It's a movement. Now, at JubiMax, which is where our products are going to be featured, we want folks to look good, we want them to feel good, and we want them to live good. Our vision is to spark a global economic movement and lead the revenue sharing revolution, while at the same time empowering people around the globe to look good, feel good, and live good. Now, when we get into the compensation model this evening, the company has 10 dynamic ways that they're going to pay us. Now, those of you who've already gotten your pre-registration portals, it did cost you a dime. We're not asking you to commit any dollars right now. You're actually fact gathering. You're getting information. You're also in a position where you can start to pre-build a team should you make the choice, as I have, to have JubiRev, JubiMax as a part of your income producing portfolio. When we get into the 10 ways we're going to pay, we won't cover all of those tonight. We will be starting to load up videos starting next week. We may not get them all loaded up, but starting next week, that will take you through each specific way the company pays, how that works, any requirements, things of that nature, so that well before the time the company says, hey, now you can make a purchase, that you have enough information to make a prudent choice. Now, isn't that just fair? Isn't that just fair? Okay, here we go. The core part of our compensation model is our revenue sharing plan. This is where the company is going to take up to 50%, perhaps sometimes even more, of its daily commissionable sales revenue and share that with all qualified promoters. Now, did I say that a qualified promoter is someone that recruited or sponsored another promoter? No. No, typically our requirements to earn on a daily basis will be as simple as placing a couple of ads that promote the product line of JubiMax, our product provider, and giving away some samples. We'll talk about that in just a few moments. I want you to understand what this means. This means that Louise Cardo in Australia, if she's responsible for commissionable transactions, someone buys product from her site, she refers a promoter that purchases some samples to give away, Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You're going to override a portion of that production. You didn't necessarily refer Luis Cardo, but you override the production of the entire company. You could be Joe Average, having not recruited one promoter. You could be Sue Average, having not recruited one promoter, and yet you override the production of the entire company. We're going to get to that tonight. Now, here's the thing we need to understand, however. Okay, we can talk about the money and talk about the income opportunity, but here's the reality. The income opportunity is only as good as the product offering. If the product offering is subpar, ladies and gentlemen, the income opportunity will have a limited lifespan. But if the product is proven, if the product is something that is habitually used and has a huge demand from the purchasing public, not just those interested in making money, oh my heavens, you've got something on your hands. So let's talk about the JubiMax products and services. Now, with JubiMax, there is a professional affiliate marketing team that has an ongoing consulting arrangement with the company. For quite some time, they generated their revenues as affiliate marketers. That's different from MLMers, different from network marketing. They weren't looking to build a team. They, over time, it built up a sizable monthly budget to advertise online, and they got to the point where they were making 6 figures plus per month in commissions marketing certain products. The biggest product that they marketed online that did not require a 30-minute webinar, did not require a dog and pony show, did not require even a home party, was skincare. And I've got to be honest with you. When I heard that, I thought, I'm a dude. Skincare? Well, then I looked at my wife's counter and I saw all of this skincare. Then I did some research of the companies in our industry that have stood the test of time, that are producing the most gross sales. Companies like Avon, $11 billion a year. Companies like Amway, $9.2 billion a year. Companies like Natura, about $3 billion a year. Mary Kay, $2.5 billion a year. And when I looked at the information I saw, now you might could go online and see some competing information, I'm sure. The information I saw showed that of the top 10 companies in our direct selling industry, 6 of those have a skincare line. And then this professional affiliate marketing group started showing us how they were generating just from skincare over $100,000 a month in revenues. Now, here's the caveat. They needed about a $75,000 a month budget to accomplish that, okay? This is one of the reasons why they love the revenue sharing model. Weight loss. So what we're featuring here are the 4 hottest selling products online. They move without you having to be a great salesperson. They move without a webinar. They move without a dog and pony show. Weight loss, ladies and gentlemen. Weight loss. The third of the 4 areas, by the way, to go along with our weight loss program will also be our Jubi Trainer system. This is where you'll be able to download thousands of exercises. Maybe that left knee's been bothering you, and so certain exercises don't work for you, but you'll find something that maybe works for you, something that you can commit to, something that's fun for you. Remember, we want you to look good. We want you to feel good, and we want you to live good. Oh, my heavens, energy. A few days ago, Mr. UPS man, Mr. Brown, drops by our house, drops off a package because the manufacturer sent us some samples. And in that, in those samples, there is a product. There's an energy product. This is, again, one of the top moving products on the internet. This particular energy product is really a 3 product in one. It actually has helps to increase your metabolism. It helps to suppress your appetite, and it also gives you energy. Monday night, I was with the programming team and with support. And, you know, I thought I knew I was going to go to bed a little late, and all of a sudden it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Then it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Before I knew it, my son was waking up, and I take him to school every morning. Well, it just so happens that earlier that day, I had taken for the first time our energy product. There were no jitters. I didn't feel some jittery rush and then some crash and burn. I didn't even go to bed that night. I went to bed the next morning at 10 a.m. and only because my wife made me. I slept for about 2.5, 3 hours, got back up, and we went back to work. Well, that was Monday going into Tuesday. Well, guess what happened on Tuesday night? Again, I did not see the bed. I did not see the bed. Wednesday when I got up because I didn't go to sleep. We were working with programming team. We didn't go to bed till about 8 o'clock, and we were 8:30. We were back up about 11ish or so. Got back up. Part of it maybe is enthusiasm. Part of it maybe is the thrill, the jubiness of everything that I knew was going to come together here. Last night, didn't get a wink of sleep last night. We were on with the programming team. And as a matter of fact, you want to know how much sleep we've gotten today? Well, we tried a little bit, about an hour and a half before the phones kept ringing and what have you. Do I sound like I'm lacking energy? Now see, that's a product, ladies and gentlemen, that I'm going to get month after month after month after month after month being a product of the product. And then there's vitality. Now, listen, this is a family show. You can probably figure out what this product means. Look at how he's looking at her and how she's looking at him. And again, I'll leave it to a family show. Maybe she wasn't looking like that to him for a while because maybe he wasn't feeling like the virile man that he once felt like, or maybe she didn't feel like the virile woman that she once felt like. Ladies and gentlemen, online, you think there's some vitality products that's being sold out there? Certainly. Those are the 4 major product lines. There'll also be some other ancillary products. We'll have our cashback Jubi rebate mall. This is already in the setup process, and we'll be ready to go extremely soon, where there's going to be over 5,000 leading merchants that offer over 300 million products. Everything from Walmart to Office Depot to Old Navy to Home Depot, so on and so forth. We, as promoters who will also be customers, as we're products of the product, as well as our consuming base, will be able to go online just like we're used to and shop where we would normally shop, simply transfer by, and get in some cases 2, 3, 4, 5, in some cases even 10% cash back. Remember what Mom said. Did your mom tell you this? Did your mom say a penny saved is a penny earned? My mom did. Oh, your mom did too? They must have gone to the same mama school. So, ladies and gentlemen, another ancillary product. Now, think about the millions of folks in time that are going to be going through this system, getting cash back, and a portion of that also comes back to the company. And why is that important? Because it becomes a commissionable sales transaction, and that starts to show up in our daily revenue. There is a travel component also a part of JubiRev, JubiMax. Why? Why? Well, because the company understands if they're going to pay out daily revenue where all promoters can tap into a portion of the daily revenue of that company, of our company, I should say, that we've got to be positioned in front of the money. Yes, skincare, weight loss, energy, vitality are selling like hotcakes online, but travel is a $7 trillion industry. Let's position ourselves in front of the money. All right, now, somebody, the light bulb just went off. You just got it. You started saying, oh, I've got it. So what they've done here at JubiRev, JubiMax is they have combined these various industries. Okay, so we've got this professional affiliate marketing group, and they're taking some of their strategies and concepts and applying that into a revenue sharing model and going to help us get these products out in mass. Okay, fantastic. I like that. I like that. I like that. There's a little travel there, and there's some cashback shopping. So all of this is under one roof. Is there something else that we have as a competitive advantage to get people to want to come and consume with us? And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is the game changer. What we're going to be able to do as promoters is we're going to be able to buy samples. Samples. I want you to think about it. You're going in the mall. You go by the food court. Smells good. You go over to some of the restaurants and someone gives you a sample. Ooh, that's good. Hey, what's that called? Yeah, I want to get some of that. What's the whole idea when you went to Costco? What's the whole idea when you went to Sam's Club? What was the whole idea when that Avon rep or that Mary Kay rep gave you a sample? The whole idea was for you to get the product in hand. Possession is 9/10 of the law. Preferably you'd like it and you would consume it. And then maybe if you liked it enough, you'd come back and consume more. And if you liked it enough in this day of social media, perhaps you're Facebook about it. Maybe you're tweeted out. Maybe you might even do a YouTube video and not even necessarily be a promoter or an affiliate of the company, but just tell your story about the product or the service. That's what sampling is all about. So this is what we're going to be able to do, ladies and gentlemen. We, as promoters, we're going to buy samples. Now, samples of what? Well, we're going to have what we call a Jubi gift card. This is what Kim is holding, a Jubi gift card that we're going to be able to load up with Jubi bucks. One Jubi bucks is $1 US. So if you purchased 100 Jubi bucks, that was $100 US. All right. Now, this is what you're going to be able to do. We're going to be able to give Marlene and Perry and Stan Jubi cards, load them up with Jubi bucks. That will all be done electronically, okay? And by the way, the card can be a virtual card, so you don't have to know them. You might put it on Facebook that you got a gift card that you have loaded up with 50 Jubi bucks or 100 Jubi bucks. So this is what happens. So Kim here goes into our portal, and she goes shopping. She goes to the checkout. It's $200. She's excited about her product, but you've given her a gift card with 100 Jubi bucks on it. That means she now can apply that 100 Jubi bucks towards her $200 purchase. And even though we're excited about our cashback mall, the fact is with our cashback mall, you're going to get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7%, 30, 60, maybe 90 days from now. What about right now? When? Right now. When? Right now savings that she can enjoy, he can enjoy by using that gift card. We're going to buy samples in the form of Jubi bucks, give those Jubi bucks away, and for revenue sharing purposes, for every Jubi buck we give or that we load onto someone's card, we earn a point for revenue sharing purposes. We'll explain that more in just a few moments. Now, it's not going to stop there. It's not going to stop there. Now, we can give Kim her a gift card in Jubi bucks, and then we can do something else. Kim can be directed to one of our capture pages where she can actually get a sample of our products. Now, by the way, this is not the product itself. This is just an example of one of the lead capture pages that our professional affiliate marketing team was marketing. This is one of the products, ladies and gentlemen, that on an average month over time, this one capture page alone would produce $60,000, $70,000 a month for them in commissions. The conversion ratio was out of the roof. It did not require a webinar. It did not require some salesman-y pitch. Essentially what would happen is folks would see this offer and they would opt in, and on the other side, they could opt to get a sample. Now, in many cases, it was a 10-day sample. We're going to offer as much as a 30-day sample. And all the customer had to do was whip out the credit card or debit card and pay the shipping and handling. Same thing's going to happen here. Now, this will be a difference. When they whipped out the credit card for shipping and handling on most of the affiliate offers, they're being back-ended into an auto ship. We're not going to do that. So we'll make it very plain in very big letters that they're not back-ended into an auto ship. So essentially, they're going to get the product delivered to them. Oh, does that mean you have to clear out your basement, not park your vehicle in your garage so that you can have samples to send out? Heavens, no. The manufacturer is going to send those products right to them. I think the manufacturer is going to be shipping in 60 or so countries from what I understand. Okay, so this is what happens. They'll be able to come in, and whether it's skincare or weight loss or energy or vitality, they'll be able to get a sample. They'll whip out their credit card or debit card to pay for the shipping. Now, the manufacturer will send the product directly to them. Now, this is what we've never seen in the revenue sharing industry. We've never seen a consumable product where the samples that we were giving away got into the hands of the consumer. Possession is 9/10 of the law. And it's not just a 10-day sample. No, weight loss, a 30-day sample. If they lose some weight, are they going to want to come back? Skincare, that gives them time to sample the product that they feel like, look like they're looking younger. Oh, girl, what did you do? You look like you took 5 years off. Are they going to want some more? Vitality, he may never tell a story about that. He may not post that to Facebook, but he feels it. He's going to want more. Now, what happens? When they come back to purchase again, they've got that Jubi gift card. It's got some Jubi bucks to incentivize them to consume again and again and again. Now, I want you to notice something that we just did here. We're going to finish up in about 15 minutes, okay, with this part of what we'll do. We'll do an optional, maybe 15 to 20 minutes, and then we'll do an optional walk through a little bit of the back office as well as a few questions. I want you to understand something. We have spent more time talking about the product tonight than I'm going to talk about the compensation plan. Why is that important? Because the income opportunity is only as strong as the product offering. And some of you understand that because some of you were part of companies that had a tremendous income opportunity, but the product was subpar at best. I want you to see what folks all across the globe are going to get from the product, because if we can get excited about that, now we can get excited about the income. Let's talk just a little bit about how the revenue sharing model works. By the way, what I'm working from today is an unfinished version of a PowerPoint, which is why I'm now going to my whiteboard here. Eventually we'll have everything on a finished version of the PowerPoint that can be leveraged by other leaders out there. Let's say the company generates $500,000 that day in commissionable sales volume. Business done in India, business done in Australia, business done in the U.S., in Africa, in South America, in Trinidad, where there's just a huge growth that's going on. All right, now the company is going to share maybe up to 50% and sometimes maybe even more. And in this example, that means they would be sharing $250,000 with all qualified promoters. Again, you don't have to recruit or sponsor other promoters to be qualified. We'll place a couple of ads a day, which will only take a few moments to do so. We saw a company do that. They had that model, and no one knew who they were when they started doing that. And in 18 months, they became the 130th most visited site in the world. More people went to their site than a site like Best Buy. Okay? Now, so we're going to place a couple of ads today, and we're going to give away samples. Remember, you're not standing out on the street corner giving away skincare. Okay? What's going to happen is we're going to drive people through our ads, through some other means also, to those capture pages where they are incentivized to opt in to get their gift card, to get some bucks, to get a sample in hopes that they'll come back and consume more. All right, so in this case, the company's going to share $250,000 that day. Now, how do you get your pro rata share? Well, by scoring points. How do we get points? Several ways, but one simple way is for every one Jubi buck, for every one Jubi buck you load onto a Jubi card, you're going to earn 1 point. So if you load up a Jubi card with 100 Jubi bucks, you just earned 100 Jubi points for your point pool. And also when you give away an actual physical sample. Now what will happen is, in order to give away a sample, for instance, of skincare, you'll need to have a certain amount of Jubi bucks in your back office so that when someone claims that sample, your Jubi bucks essentially paid for the sample, but you're going to get points. So it may be they get a 30-day supply of the skincare, and that 30-day supply might equate to 100 Jubi bucks, as an example. 100 Jubi bucks that you would need to have in your back office, which would translate into 100 points. So the key is we want to give away as many samples as we possibly can. Now, let's say the company does its revenue sharing that night, and you had 100 points. And let's say that from your 100 points, you got your revenue sharing. By the way, we're never going to use words like interest. We're never going to use words like percentages. We're going to stay away from any words that have any banking or investment connotation so that we can protect the goose that lays the golden egg. Let's say that your reward that night, were rewarded in more JubiBucks, was $1.25. Okay, your reward that night was $1.25 based on your having 100 points. Now you're going to be able to actually convert the majority of that $1.25 into actual commissions, and then a certain amount will remain as JubiBucks that either you can use yourself or that you can give away for more samples. Now, if you had 1,000 points that night, the same ratio applied. The same ratio applied. So all you've got to do is move your decimal, and now you earned $12.50 in JubiBucks. Again, a good amount of that you can convert into commissions. What if you had 10,000 points? Same ratio. All right, just move the decimal. Now you just earned 125 JubiBucks. And this is what we've seen in this industry, where folks who weren't necessarily good at recruiting other promoters or sponsoring other promoters would begin to build their point totals and build their point totals. And then all of a sudden, where they were getting $1.25 in rewards, down the road it was $12.50 a day perhaps in rewards, and then it was $125 a day perhaps in rewards. What happens if a person got to 100,000 points? We started seeing a lot of people hitting those types of milestones. What happens if someone got to 1,000,000 points? That's a big number. The regulators wouldn't like me to show that here, so I want to be in step with the regulators so that we can protect the goose that lays the golden egg. Now here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Remember now, you are generating these revenues even if you hadn't recruited or sponsored. That's amazing. Now, the beautiful part about this is that these points have a life cycle. You don't score points today and you earned your $1.25 in this example, your $12.50, and that's it. No, these points have a life cycle, and in our system, points will have a life cycle of up to 105 days. Oh, wait a minute. Are you telling me that if I do my daily simple tasks, that for the next up to 105 days, I could be earning on those points? So it doesn't become monthly residual income. It doesn't become weekly residual income. It becomes daily residual income. That's exactly what I'm telling you. That's exactly what I'm telling you. Oh, wait a minute. So what if I earn points tomorrow, next week, a month from now, 2 months from now, 3 months from now? Do those points 3 months from now have their own 105-day life cycle up to 105 days? Yes. So this could be long-term daily residual income. I think you're starting to get it, ladies and gentlemen. That's the power of revenue sharing. Now, you are not required to recruit or sponsor other promoters, but there is a tremendous incentive should you decide to do so. Now, what our company is going to do is they're going to pay up to a 10% override, what they will refer to as a generational bonus override. If you refer a promoter, we all as promoters are going to want to purchase some inventory so we can give away that inventory to generate points. There'll also be a few monthly subscription options. There's a $15 a month subscription, $50, $100, and $200. And when we start putting together our videos that will go in our back office next week, you'll get all of that understanding, and you'll be able to make a choice as to which of those monthly subscription options are going to best suit you where you are. Now, I want you to see something for a moment. Let's say that you referred Cynthia, and Cynthia, she had a few dollars. She's not going to hurt herself. She's going to purchase as much inventory as her resources allow. She's just not going to hurt herself. Will you raise your hand and make that pledge? You're not going to go out and get in debt. You're not going to borrow money from Uncle Bob and have yourself on the hook. You're going to use discretionary funds. That's smart business. That's smart business. All right, so let's say she made a $2,500 purchase of inventory, and you got a 10% override, you just earned $250 in that example. That would go straight to your eCash. You could actually request that as 100% commissions. Hey, give me my $250. That's yours. Or you could take a portion of that $250 and maybe cover your monthly subscription so it doesn't become a new bill to you. Or take that and buy some more JubiBucks so that you have more samples you can give away. You give away those samples, you get more points, or any combination of that. Now, that's wonderful. But it doesn't stop there, because what happens as Cynthia begins to build her point total and build her point total, what's going to happen is on a daily basis that she is getting revenue. Remember, there is a percentage of that, or a certain amount of that, I should say. I want to stay away from percentages. There's a certain amount of that that she can commission out as commission dollars. That means there's a certain amount that stays in her JubiBuck balance. So anything that stays in her JubiBucks for the day, you get an override on. So if she gets to the point where maybe she's at 10,000 points, and maybe she earned 125 JubiBucks, and she says, you know what, I'm not looking to commission anything out right now. I want to take those 125 JubiBucks and I'm going to give them away so I can generate more points for tonight's revenue share and tomorrow's revenue share and so on and so forth. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You get a 10% override on that. Wait a minute. There's $12.50. And what happens if she gets to 30 points, and if she gets to 50 points, and if she gets to 100 points? And this is where we saw people really change their lives, because people would begin to build their point totals over time, and then folks were getting commissioned on that. Now, the biggest company, the biggest model that we saw in this industry would pay a 10% override if you personally referred someone, a first-generation override, and if your referrals referred and they purchased inventory, you get a 5% override, or up to, I should say, 5%. What our company is going to do is going to take that a little step further. Yes, up to 10% personal, your first generation, someone that you've enrolled. Yes, up to 5%. Second generation, you enrolled John, John enrolls Sally. She would be second generation to you. But we're going to go even third generation. Sally enrolls Martina. So it's going to be 1% there. Now, we saw people do exceptionally well with just the 10 and 5, with just the 10 and 5. But I'm not finished here. I'm not finished. Oh my goodness, this is where it gets really crazy. Because then the company is going to put another 0.5% through as many as 8 levels. Wait a minute here. Wait a minute here. So not only is the 10 and the 5 and the 1 potentially being paid out, but another 0.5% through as many as 8 levels. Now, you may be saying, well, what is that? Well, I'm going to tell you. I know what it's like to have someone in your organization that has 1 million points. What if you were getting 0.5% as an override as they were getting daily rewards, and a certain amount of those rewards were going to their bucks? That becomes huge. All right, so then this is what the company did. They said, hey, let's do something really special. Yes, we've got the revenue sharing model. Oh, and they scoured and they studied and they studied, and they saw something else that really intrigued them. There was a company that's in the traditional weight loss MLM industry that mastered a particular tool, a culture of using a tool that has a placement option. Instead of having a matrix that incentivizes typically the wrong behavior, what this tool does is it allows you as a leader to reward the right behavior. What am I talking about? Let's say you are personally enrolled, and I'm finishing up in just a few moments. You personally enrolled Martha, and you personally enrolled Ricky, and you personally enrolled Peter. Now, you personally enrolled Martha, Peter, and Ricky. They're always going to be first generation to you. You're going to get your 10% override, up to 10% override. Always, 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 always. But now you can run a contest. We call this our Jubi Suite, because when you enrolled Martha, Ricky, and Peter, they're going to be in your Juby suite. You're going to have up to 60 days to determine where in your structure, as deep as 8 levels, that you want to place them. You will not lose one dime if you placed Ricky in Peter's unilevel. Or if you place Martha in Ricky's, you wouldn't even lose one dime. You would keep your 10%. But what you could do is you could provide a contest. You could say, hey, Martha, hey, Ricky, hey, Peter, we're going to run a contest. We're going to run a contest for the next 2 weeks. The one that does the most production, the one whose teams grows the most, the one that personally enrolls the most, the one that personally registers the most pre-registrants, they are going to win, hear this, a leg. Excuse me? So let's say that Martha goes out and she wins that promotion that you ran. You're the leader. You ran the promotion. And so now what happens is you take Peter and you place Peter in Martha's unilevel. Now, Peter is still first generation to you. You still get your 10% override with Peter, Martha, and Ricky as they make their purchases. But now, what just happened for Martha? What just happened for Martha? Martha now gets a 0.5% every day that Peter gets rewarded. A certain amount of those rewards stay in his Juby bucks. So every day, you just gave daily residual income. Now, you did not create an entitlement society, which often happens with a matrix. What you did is you rewarded performance. Oh, by the way, what if Peter didn't win that particular contest, but in him pursuing to win that contest, maybe he personally enrolled, I don't know, I'll just say maybe 10 folks during this pre-registration period, and a certain amount of those folks upgraded. Now, Martha's not only overriding Peter, but overriding Peter's team, and overriding those folks that they referred, and that production, and all the sales, and all of that. And what happened? What did you lose? Not one thing. What do you gain? Now you've got more stories. See, I love being able to share the stories. I don't have to tell my story. I like telling Lynn's story. I like telling Ramondo's story, a gentleman who hadn't referred or recruited a soul, and yet after 6 months, the types of revenues he was generating. Of course, you've got to do that in a compliant way, so on and so forth. This, ladies and gentlemen, changes the ball game. There are companies out there that have revenue sharing. We've got that. There are companies, what we haven't seen in the revenue sharing model, there'll be other companies who will pop up and try to duplicate, and I bid them well, because I want to see several companies in this industry do well. But who else right now is sending out product samples and then giving an incentive for that person to come back again and again by offering these tremendous discounts in the way of these bucks? And who else out there is putting together a revenue sharing model with this placement tool? Let me tell you this, and we'll start to round third. I'll give you an example of something that one of our leaders shared with me today. One of our leaders has already personally enrolled probably about 100 pre-registrants. They're running a contest, and what they're saying is, I'm going to build my Juby Juby Max business through at most 10 legs. So if they have personally enrolled 100 so far, and this is the first day, my gosh. All right, what they're saying is they're going to run a contest, and the 10 winners of the contest, they're going to build everything through those 10. So what would happen with the other 90 who didn't win? Somehow they're going to be linked into the organizations of those 10. And see, they can run even more contests after that, and they can run even more contests after that, and they can run even more contests after that. So we get the impact of what people like about a matrix, the potential of having folks that are in your organization that maybe you weren't the ones that brought them to the table, but we take away the negatives of a matrix, an entitlement society, because the only reason you should ever place Peter in Martha's organization is because Martha did something that helped to grow the company. And when she does that and brings revenue to the company, we all see that in our daily revenue. What do? You get back. You get back to the person that referred you to this webinar. And you get the referral link. Right now we're in our pre-registration phase. We're not asking anybody to come up with any money today, not even next week, probably not even the week after that. We won't begin to do that. The company won't until the manufacturer is about ready to start shipping product. That might be another couple, 3 weeks. Who knows? All right. So but you can start building your team. What better time is it to build your team when there is no outlay that's required? People can come in and gather information and then make the determination, because you're big boys and big girls, as to whether or not you want to promote with us long term. So you're going to get back to the person who referred you, get their link, register. It only takes a couple minutes to go in and register. Okay. Then what you're going to do, and I'm going to walk you through this a little bit, is you want to attend as much training, whether we're talking about presentation webinars like this, whether we're talking about training in your back office, to gather as much information, and then you want to get your link out. Get your link out. We've already had folks that have personally enrolled over 100 people today. Now, will all 100 upgrade and promote with us? Probably not. Will a percentage of those folks? Yes. Will that mean big things for that particular promoter? Yes. All right, so you want to get your link out. Get your link out. All right, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to now do is go into an optional session. Our webinar is actually over. If you're sticking around, you're saying, hey, this is the meeting after the meeting. Some of you remember that from the traditional MLM network marketing offline days, the meeting after the meeting. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I will let you know that tomorrow we're going to be at the same webinar link, www.JubiRevWebinar.com. Now, I know that when you go in your calendar and you see that, it's going to say the webinars from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. It's not a 6-hour webinar. We're going to have a 12 p.m. session, and we're going to have a 4 p.m. session, and that's Eastern, by the way. We also have included a link back there where you can convert that into whatever your time frame happens to be, no matter where you are in the world. What we'll do, because we didn't want you to have 2 or 3 links, we wanted you to only have to worry about 1 link. We'll do the 12 p.m. Webinar Eastern. Once we finish that one, we'll just keep the webinar screen up, and then folks will come back for the 4 p.m. All right, let's go through your back office real quick. We just do a little meeting after the meeting, a little training back here. Let's make sure that I am still in this training account. Bear with us. Give me just a moment. Give me just a moment. I want to show you a few things. Some of you got so excited about what was happening today that you immediately started getting your link out, and maybe you haven't taken the time to go back here. I want you to start taking some time. Maybe spend a little bit of part of your business day allocated to take, maybe it's 15 minutes a day, maybe it's a half an hour a day to start to familiarize yourself with the nuances of JubiRev, JubiMax. Okay, give us just a moment. One thing I do need to share real quickly, put this back on so you can see my screen. Your login. All right, JubiRev is our promoter portal. However, when you're logging into your back office, you will be logging in at JubiMax. And the reason that was done is because JubiMax is our customer portal. By getting all of that activity going to JubiMax, that's going to help move us up the rankings, the search engine rankings. So JubiMax.com/members is where you log in with your email address and your password that you selected during the time that you were registering. JubiMax.com/members. Okay, here we go. We'll do this very quickly. All right, so now, a couple of things I want you to do when you come into your back office. The first thing I want you to do is I want you to watch this video, JubiRev Members Area Overview. This gives you a broad sketch of some of the functionalities in your back office. It by no means covers everything, but enough to get you started. It's going to get you started with your quick start. It walks you through your quick start, which is 6 very simple steps that you can finish in just a few moments' time. And I'm a little slow here, so I do apologize for that. All right. In one of those 6 steps, you're going to see, even as you see over here on the right-hand side, you're going to see a Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. You want to go on and follow the company with Facebook and Twitter and YouTube. One of the things that the company is committed to doing is making sure there is compliant promotional material. Wants to respect the fact that many of you are tremendous leaders in your own right, and you've got your own following. You've got blogs, and you've got you blog. You've got your own training systems and own training sites. What we don't want people doing is going out and just coming up with their own marketing material and saying things like compounding, bad word, saying things like interest, bad word, saying things like, oh, we earned such and such % last night, bad word. We're going to want to protect the goose that lays the golden egg. So it's going to have you to set up a PIN code so that you have a secondary level of security, update your profile with all your information. There's a calendar function, all right? Very important. I want you to get used to going to your calendar. Your calendar is where we're going to have any links that we have for webinars. You're going to find in your calendar. Any webinars that are going on or conference calls that are going on, you're going to find that at your calendar. And it looks like we're running a little bit slow here. But the calendar function is going to be very important. You'll have the links there. You'll have a link for a call-in number if you're calling in from one of the countries that the system has call-in numbers for. And you'll also have a time and date converter. Now, what we'll endeavor to do is keep this ahead at least a week so that you can pre-plan. So, for instance, sometime between tomorrow and the end of the weekend, all of next week's webinars will be posted back here. We'll tend to use many of the same links so that you don't get confused. And for those of you who are promoting for your folks to get here, they know which links to use. So you'll see, for instance, the 12 and the 4 on tomorrow afternoon. Also, well, we're moving a little slow here. In your training, back here in your training is where you're going to see a lot of training videos. There's a couple back there now. I think a couple more or 3 more are going to be loaded maybe sometime tonight. Other compensation training videos are being cut, various parts of the system so that you can understand the nuances. That way you promoters can do what you do best, promote. And you can send folks to a central location to get the training from a corporate perspective so that people are getting the right information. The other beautiful part about that is many of you that's been in this industry know that a lot of times you wind up having orphans. You know, you referred John, and John referred Sally. Sally referred Pauline, but Sally's not really paying attention. You know, and Pauline's kind of feeling alone. Well, no need, because Pauline's going to get what she needs to build her business. We're going to build here. Our role is to help in training. There'll be other great leaders who will come on and do that as well. Obviously, ladies and gentlemen, I don't own the company. I'm not an owner of the company. I am a promoter just like you. I'm just absolutely committed to this model and want to see it work and want to do anything I can to help this model be successful. So make sure that you take some time coming back through here. One other thing I wanted to share with you is when you go and you click on the YouTube, it's going to bring you to the corporate YouTube channel. You feel free to take any of these videos. All right, feel free to leverage any of those videos. You know, share the link, put it, you know, send an email out or what have you. You know that if it's here, it's signed off on by the company. It's corporately approved. There's also in your back office area. Don't have time because I'm running a little slow, and I do want to give you a chance to get a few questions answered. If you come under marketing, and then come under daily ad placement, you're going to see approved ads. When you click on approved ads, there we go, sample approved daily ads. When you click on there, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to see videos. These are videos, again, that the company has sanctioned. Now, yes, you can go to YouTube and get some of these same videos, but some of you, again, have your own blogs, and you don't really want to put a YouTube video on your blog because you don't want someone to see the YouTube video and then haul off to YouTube to go look at some other stuff, okay? So this is where you can take these videos. You'll have an embed code there, put them on your blog, for instance, and they're not going to be taken to YouTube. You can download it. You can watch the video, and then you can share it to your Facebook. You can tweet it out to your audience. So this is a way. Maybe you're not good at presenting or training. Maybe you don't quite know what to say. Utilize the tools. The company will be coming out every 4 to 6 weeks with probably at least one, if not two, professionally done videos, whether they talk about the business or whether they talk about the products, so on and so forth. So leverage that. There's even banner ads back here. Not bad for a company that just started its pre-registration today, huh? Not bad. Someone told me today that JubiRev doesn't look like a company that's in pre-registration. We're not even in pre-launch yet. We're not even in soft launch yet. So they look like this company has been around here for a while. And that is a testament to the management team. So you can come back here. You've got plenty of banners back here if you want to, again, place them on your blog. For some of you that like to do some other banner advertising, you've got those back here. And it's embedded with your link. So I want to give you a quick tour of some of the things in your back office. All right, I'm going to open things up here for 10 minutes for optional Q&A. If you would, in your questions box, if you submitted a question earlier, it's so much in here, we may miss some of those. So I'm just going to go through. I know I won't be able to get to everything. Okay. Give us just a moment. Is there a PDF of the compensation plan somewhere? It is not back in the back office just yet. Most of the compensation plan has already been signed off by the attorneys and the consultants. There's a couple things that they are still going through, and then they're going to pretty up the document. So you should have a PDF of the compensation plan in the coming days. Remember, we're still in pre-registration. We're still quite a bit away, a couple weeks, if not 3, from doing the pre-launch. So you'll have plenty of time to get the PDF and thoroughly understand the compensation plan. Starting sometime next week, you'll start to see some videos popping up under your training, and there'll be a tab there that probably says compensation training, and you'll start to see videos popping up that really walk you through in in great detail about each component of the compensation plan. Don't expect all 10 elements to be discussed next week, but it may be 2 or 3, the most important ones, and then so on and so forth. So you'll start getting that, okay? All right, give me a moment. Someone said, can we buy customers to give samples to? The company cannot sell you customer registrations, but you are free to go out and look for third-party sources, and I'm quite sure that there'll be leaders that will have contacts with third-party sources where you can purchase customer registrations. Now, I will tell you that they need to be real customers. So there's some companies out there where the customers aren't really real, and for third-party sources, there may be some type of API access that the company requires those third-party sources to have, so that the company can keep tabs on whether or not a provider is providing, fake leads or fake customers versus real customers. But yes, there'll be sources out there. Now, because I'm doing this on a corporate webinar, I'm not at liberty to share about sources or anything like that, because I'm functioning from a corporate standpoint. But check with your leaders. So, many of your leaders are going to wind up doing their own conference calls and own webinars and what have you, and they should be able to lead you to the right direction. How many JubiBucks can you give away per person? How many JubiBucks can you give away per person? I've heard that it will probably be in the 300 to 400 JubiBuck initial limit. All right, let's say 300 for right now, just for lack of a better example. However, here's going to be a difference, because what we've seen in the revenue sharing world is we've seen companies that said, hey, you can give away maybe 1,000 bids if they were in the penny auction space, but that's the most you can ever give. All right. Well, what this company is going to do is they'll have an initial limit that you can give in terms of JubiBucks on a Jubi card. But in your back office, you're going to be able to see if your customer, as a matter of fact, if you, when you get a chance, you go back here under My Jubi team, and you're going to see customers, and you're going to see the categories. It's going to say Jubi Bucks assigned, so how many Jubi Bucks did you place on someone's card? And it's going to say Jubi Bucks used. So if you place 300 Jubi Bucks on the card and they used 100 Jubi Bucks, it's going to actually allow you to give more Jubi Bucks to an actual consuming customer. If the customer's not using the Jubi Bucks, you'll be limited to whatever that cap happens to be. But if the customer actually uses Jubi Bucks, you'll be able to give them more as an incentive for them to come back and shop more. This is not a situation where we want to purchase fake customers, give them bids or some other product that they're not going to use only so we can get points and credits for our revenue sharing. This company wants real customers, and the day's going to come if they execute, and I certainly see them executing, where the company grows, no longer is under the radar. Mr. Regulator knocks on the door. He knocks on every company's door that grows to any size, and we want to be able to pass the regulatory test and show we not only have promoters, we not only have customer registrations, but we have actual customers that are buying and purchasing habitually. Great question. Someone's asking about the management team and the ownership. You're going to get a chance to hear from them very soon. I will tell you that there is a very strong group of silent investors that do not have day-to-day decision-making authority. That's very important, because I can tell you I was once a part owner of a network marketing company, and there were 5 of us. And the challenge with that is sometimes you've got 5 headstrong folks, and one thinks it should be done that way, and one thinks it should be done that way, so on and so forth. And actually, to be honest with you, it became a disaster. The company is not owned by 5 folks. There is a very strong silent partner investment group, but they do not have decision-making authority. There is a negotiations right now being made with a fairly large leader in the industry that has been at the helm of some companies. That particular person is still under a certain agreement, and negotiations are being held right now for that person to potentially take an ownership stake, which is one of the reasons why we're not mentioning names just yet. They're still under certain agreements, and that's not set in stone. You will hear from management. You will hear from management. Right now, I'm serving to do some training. There'll be other leaders that will be coming on and serving to do some training, but you will hear from management coming soon. Where is the company headquartered? Out of the British Virgin Islands. Even with that being said, we want to do business in the U.S. The U.S. is probably the most heavily regulated company when it comes to the direct selling space. And typically, if you can pass the regulatory muster in the U.S., you can typically pass it virtually anywhere. So we definitely want to do business in the U.S. and other countries as well. So even though the company is not registered out of the U.S., they want to comply with all of the U.S. laws. Manufacturer is in the U.S. They'll be banking both on and off the U.S. shore, since it's not a U.S.-based company. I'm sure there'll even be operating offices and things like that out of the U.S. As well. Okay, great questions here. Someone said, do we outlay $100 as an example to give away $100 in samples? Yes, Bob. Whether those samples happen to be Jubi Bucks onto a Jubi card, or whether you need 100 Jubi Bucks to give away a 30-day skincare sample. Now, I don't know how many Jubi Bucks you're going to need to give away a skincare sample. Yeah, I'm using 100 nice round numbers. It could be more, could be less. I don't know. Versus, let's say, vitality, or versus energy, or what have you. But what I want you to get is 2 things here: that when you give away the Jubi Bucks, that is a point per buck given. I outlay $1 to purchase 1 Juby buck. I give away that Juby buck. I earn 1 point that goes into my my daily revenue pool, and I can earn on that point for as many as 105 days. Thank you, sir, for your question. I'm not hearing much about compliance. You will hear a lot about compliance. You'll hear a lot about compliance. For instance, that's one of the reasons, and actually you did hear something about compliance, but maybe we didn't make it as definitive. One of the things hopefully that you heard was the company will have marketing material, promotional material that you'll be able to leverage. Why? So the company has a controlled message. Now, we don't want to stop promoters from doing what comes natural to them, promoting. Well, I don't want to stop. The company doesn't want to stop. I say I'm not an owner, but we don't want to stop a blogger from blogging. We just want to make sure that if that blogger is going to put a video, we'll take one of the professionally done videos or one of the training videos or what have you and put that on your blog because it's got the verbiage, it's got the information that gets the point across but does it in a compliant way. Okay? And obviously we're still in pre-registration, so you'll see in time a full compliance department. You'll see, I mean, obviously when you're just getting started, you don't have all of those things in place just yet, but believe me, we're going to protect the goose that lays the golden egg. Hey, how can I make purchases, and then how will we be commissioned? Can we use PayPal? Heavens no. PayPal's not very friendly to e-marketers, and I know because PayPal doesn't like me right now. I've not been able to use my PayPal account in quite some time. No. Let's talk a little bit about that. It looks like there's going to be 3 strong pay in, make a purchase, pay out, receive commissions solutions. It looks like 2 of those will be debit card based, linked to a virtual checking account. One of those will work extremely well for the U.S. audience. Many of you will be able to go to a Walmart or a Walgreens and pick up a Green Dot Money card to actually put money on your debit card so that you can then move money from the debit card into the system, into your eCash, where you can make a purchase. The reason that's going to be so attractive is that one of the challenges that we've seen in the revenue sharing space is they typically were using Solid Trust Pay or Payza or some other payment processing system that your new person comes aboard today, but maybe they're not already internet marketing and have those systems set up. So now they've got to set up the systems, and they've got to go through the verifications, and then they've got to do this, and they've got to do that. And a week and a half later, they're finally ready to get money into their system to make a purchase, but they were excited about it tonight. It took them a week and a half. Boy, a lot can happen between now and a week and a half. So that's going to be a solution that will allow people to have a pay-in going into their eCash to make purchases, as well as a pay-out solution when you're ready to start receiving commissions. It looks like there's also going to be an international card that could also be used by U.S. folks and internationally. And it looks like the virtual banking account connected to that is going to be, I want to say, an Australian bank, but folks will be able to go to some fairly prominent banks, even some in the U.S., and actually pay in. I think Bank of America is one of the banks. You don't have to have a Bank of America account, but you'll be able to go into a Bank of America and essentially put money into Bank of America, not in an account, but it gets transferred to your virtual bank account. Then it can be loaded up on your debit card. That way, when you're getting commission payout, you can have a couple solutions. And it looks like there's going to be another solution that won't be nearly as fee intensive as, let's say, Solid Trust Pay or Payza. And in time, when you get to that point, we're going to strongly encourage you to consider having a diversified payout method. So if you start getting to the point where you're generating good income, let's say you get $1,000 commissions coming to you for the week. Well, I would love it for you to consider having a certain amount of that go to one pay card and maybe a certain amount go to another pay card. Why? Because these are all third-party solutions that the company doesn't own or control. And if something ever happens to one of the solutions, it doesn't mean that all of your money is locked up in that pay card that maybe had a challenge, so on and so forth, okay? And it looks like as early as the end of next week, perhaps, maybe, potentially, all of my disclaimers, as early as sometime next week, you may be in a position to order one or both, perhaps, of the pay cards. Now, not everybody will need both right away, but it's something that particularly when you get to the point where you're getting commissions, taking out some of your revenue, that you're going to want to have diversified pay in, diversified payout solutions. All right, now with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, there are far more questions than what I have time for. Remember, gosh, I've not slept in my own bed since Sunday night. I might be able to sleep in my bed tonight. I might, but I still have to connect with programming tonight. So what we're going to do is we're going to go on and come off of the webinar. We love each and every one of you. Remember, tomorrow we've got a couple of webinars going on tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern and 4 p.m. Eastern. It will be at this same link, JubiRevWebinar.com. Congratulations to all of you that are making a prudent choice to get your links. Congratulations to all of you that have begun to distribute your links. I would not wait. I've heard stories today of folks saying, hey, I've gotten 7 people, 8 people, 10 different emails talking about JubiRev and JubiMax. So I would start getting that information out much sooner than later. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we love each and every one of you. Let's change the world together, starting with yours. And remember, with JubiRev, JubiMax, we're not just a company. No, we're not. We're a movement. Good night, everyone.
The organizer has ended the session, and this call will be disconnected. Goodbye.